Hello, and welcome to Sleepy Paradise. My name is Sam Wilson. Tonight, we'll wander somewhere gentle together. Not into cities or crowds, not through the noise of headlines or the urgency of tomorrow. But into something much quieter. Something far more ancient. Into the soft green mystery of photosynthesis. You see, somewhere not far from where you rest, whether outside your window or beneath your feet, a small leaf is catching starlight. It doesn't seem remarkable, not at first glance. Just a leaf. Just a tree. Just a patch of grass. But what that leaf is doing tonight is extraordinary. Without fanfare, without applause, it is turning light into life. That's where we'll begin. With light. With breath. With the miracle you walk past every day. So take a moment now to notice how your body feels. Notice the slow rise and fall of your chest. Notice how you, too, are made of these quiet exchanges, of air, of energy, of warmth. In this soft space between day and sleep, you and I will journey through the world of plants. Through the hidden science of how sunlight becomes food. We won't hurry. We'll drift, together, at the pace of leaves growing. Tonight's story is not about rushing. It's about noticing. It's about letting curiosity take its time. Because when you really listen, you'll hear it. The hush beneath the leaves. The rhythm of breath shared between trees and lungs. The invisible thread connecting light to life. So let your eyes grow heavy now. Let your thoughts grow soft. I'll be here, guiding you gently, one slow breath at a time. Welcome, to this quiet corner of the world. Where science isn't loud or complicated. It's simply waiting for you to notice. And when you do, you'll find something beautiful waiting there. The secret of how green things grow. Are you ready? Let's begin. Chapter 1, Beneath the Leaves, Light Becomes Life. You are lying still now. The weight of the day softens across your chest. The world grows quieter with every breath you take. Somewhere outside, the night leans softly against the trees. Somewhere close, beneath a curtain of leaves, something ancient is happening. Beneath the leaves, light becomes life. It happens so quietly you'd miss it if you weren't paying attention. It happens so slowly, with such gentleness, that even time seems to forget to measure it. A process so old it predates cities and language, yet so delicate it continues even while you sleep. Tonight, your thoughts will wander where roots touch soil and leaves touch sky. You'll listen to the story that green things tell, a story written in sunlight and silence. Imagine yourself now beneath a great tree. Its branches stretch above you like open hands. Its leaves are thin and simple, yet within each one lies a laboratory more precise than any built by human hands. These leaves catch the sun's soft rays, not to warm themselves, not to glow, but to gather light the way your lungs gather breath. Each leaf is a quiet worker in a vast network of life. Each one drinks light the way you drink water. They hold it in the green of their skin, turning it over and over in cells so small you could not see them, even if you pressed your face to the leaf itself. Inside, something miraculous unfolds. Light is not kept as light. It is transformed. Through tiny doors called chloroplasts, sunlight becomes energy, and energy becomes sugar, and sugar becomes the foundation of almost everything that lives. The tree doesn't hurry. It doesn't need to. It knows that time will do what time does. What it gathers today will feed its roots tomorrow. What it stores now will become fruit, or flower, or seed, or perhaps simply more leaves. The energy may travel far beyond the tree itself. Into the bellies of birds. Into the hands of children picking apples. Into the lungs of animals resting in its shade. But it all begins here, with light captured beneath a leaf. You may not notice this when you walk beneath trees in the bright hours of the day. But beneath the green, beneath the visible world, light is being stored like treasure. Stored not in gold or jewels, but in molecules so small and so silent you've never heard them speak, yet they sustain the world beneath your feet. It is strange to think how much depends on this quiet exchange. Strange to think of how your own body is tied to these soft, green processes. The oxygen you breathe out is a gift returned to them. The oxygen you breathe in is a gift they offer you. Back and forth. Day after day. Breath after breath. A conversation of sorts, though no words are spoken. And in this exchange, something else unfolds, something almost poetic. Light, captured and changed by leaves, becomes not only food, but fuel. Not only fuel, but growth. Not only growth, but life in every form you know. From trees to bees to birds to you. You are tied to this process as surely as roots are tied to soil. Let this thought settle into you now, like soft earth cradling a seed. Life is not made in the loud places. It begins in the quiet. Not in factories, but in forests. Not in noise, but in stillness. Photosynthesis is not just a word from a textbook. It is a kind of whisper from the natural world. A whisper that says, look. Even light can become something more. You don't need to understand every detail tonight. You only need to know that beneath those leaves, even now, this work continues. In darkness, in daylight, in the rhythm that trees have kept for longer than history remembers. Breathe with that thought. Let your breath match the slow pace of green things growing. As you drift deeper into rest, imagine this. Tiny green cells still turning sunlight into sweetness. Roots still drawing water from soil as soft as sleep. Leaves still lifting toward the sky, even in darkness, waiting for morning. You are not separate from this rhythm. You are not apart from this exchange. Beneath the leaves, beneath the visible world, light becomes life. And life moves gently through all things. So you rest now beneath this understanding. That growth takes time. That change comes quietly. That energy flows through you just as it flows through every green thing. Let that knowing carry you softly forward. Forward into deeper rest. Forward into the next part of this story. Because just as light becomes life, so too does breath become bond. And that quiet exchange, of air, of energy, of kindness between tree and lung, is where we will gently go next. Chapter 2, The Breath Between Us. You are breathing now. Softly. Slowly. Without needing to think. And yet, what fills your lungs is not only air. It is history. It is partnership. It is life moving quietly through you. Breathe in again. This air has been here long before you. It has drifted through leaves, through oceans, through the open mouths of sleeping animals. It has swirled above mountains and slipped between blades of grass. What you hold in your chest now, this breath, may once have rested inside a tree. There is a rhythm beneath everything living. You may not hear it, but your body knows it. You breathe out carbon dioxide. Trees breathe it in. Trees breathe out oxygen. You breathe it in. Back and forth. Over and over. A conversation carried on in silence, sustained without effort, without thought. Pause here. Notice how it feels to breathe. Notice the rise of your chest. The gentle fall of your ribs. This is not something separate from the world around you. This is how you are connected to it. Imagine standing now beneath a tree. The same tree from before, its branches still resting like arms against the sky. Above you, leaves stretch out, still quietly working, still turning light into energy. But in this moment, they are also shaping your next breath. You cannot see it. You cannot hold it in your hand. But the oxygen you draw in is the gift of these green things. And it is not only trees. The oceans breathe too. Beneath the surface, tiny plants, phytoplankton, float and flutter in the currents, catching sunlight, releasing oxygen. More than half the air you breathe comes from these unseen drifters beneath the waves. Tiny, delicate, yet vast in their importance. Even now, as you lie still, the air you take in has traveled through forests and seas. It carries whispers of distant places. Of rain falling in Amazonian canopies. Of winds skimming across Arctic ice. Of waves folding softly over coral reefs. You breathe in. And in doing so, you join with all that breathes. Consider how natural this is. How effortless. You do not command your lungs. You do not instruct your blood to gather oxygen. Your body simply knows. It knows how to receive what is given. It knows how to give back what is no longer needed. This exchange has no urgency. No rush. It moves at the pace of life itself. Inhale. Exhale. You might imagine now, not just the tree, but the entire planet breathing alongside you. The forests exhaling in daylight, inhaling in darkness. The oceans stirring with unseen life, cycling breath beneath waves. Animals resting in nests, in burrows, in dens, each rising and falling with their own rhythms. This is a world bound together by breath. By exchange. By unseen connections carried in the quiet air between us. The air inside you has been shared countless times. It has traveled through other bodies, other forms of life. Through birds in flight, through wolves running beneath the moon, through fish gliding through kelp forests. It is not owned. It is not held. It passes freely, from being to being, like a kindness given and returned. What is within you now will one day leave you. What leaves you will nourish something else. Consider how humbling this is. How comforting. You are never truly alone. Even in breath, you are part of something vast and gentle. Your lungs and the leaves of the world, partners in a slow, ancient dance. Let this thought settle inside you. Every inhale is a meeting. Every exhale is a gift. And this cycle has shaped life itself. From the first tiny organisms breathing in shallow seas, to the towering redwoods of ancient forests, to you, resting now, beneath your blanket, listening, breathing. Pause again. Feel the breath move through you. Notice how it comes without force. How it leaves without struggle. This is the body's wisdom. This is nature's rhythm. And in this rhythm, there is peace. There is calm. There is belonging. You are part of a world that breathes. Part of a world that exchanges not just air, but energy, and warmth, and life. Let your breath slow now, even more. Let it match the unhurried pace of oceans. The steady inhale and exhale of waves. The quiet rhythm of leaves beneath the stars. This is where life begins, in exchange. In the giving and the receiving. In the spaces between breaths. As you drift further, softer, let this thought linger. Your breath carries you forward. Carries you deeper into the story of the living world. And just as leaves catch light, just as lungs catch air, so too does your body gather what it needs and release what it no longer requires. This gentle, endless conversation continues. Ahead, another chapter waits. A question not yet answered, but softly calling. Where does this energy go next? Where does it lead, beyond breath, beyond air, toward the quiet heart of nourishment itself? Chapter 3, Roots Remember Rain. You are lying still now, your breath slow, your body calm. But beneath you, beneath your floor, beneath the ground itself, there is a world moving without haste. Roots stretch in silence. They do not rush. They do not force. They follow something deeper, moisture, minerals, the soft promise of nourishment hidden in soil. Imagine it now, as though you could sink beneath the surface. Layers of earth unfold below you, cool and dark. Threads of roots press through the dirt like fingers feeling their way in sleep. They are not lost. They are not searching blindly. Roots remember where the rain has been. They trace patterns of water, holding on to the stories left behind by clouds and storms. Every drop of water carries memory, of sky, of wind, of mountains it passed on its way down. When it reaches earth, it does not vanish. It waits. It seeps. It settles into spaces roots can find. And so a tree, or a blade of grass, or a flower stretching toward morning knows something of patience. Knows something of trust. What seems dry on the surface is often full of quiet promise beneath. You, too, have roots. Not made of fibers or cells, but of memory. Of habits. Of the quiet ways you reach for what sustains you. Beneath your thoughts, beneath your waking life, there are deep parts of you that remember where nourishment has come from before. Where you found kindness. Where you found calm. Where you found safety. Like roots, you stretch again and again toward these things, even when you cannot see them. Pause now. Imagine your breath traveling down through you like water sinking into soil. Feel how even in stillness, you are connected downward, to earth, to history, to all the things that hold you quietly in place. Roots do not fear darkness. They move through it, slowly, gently, finding their way not by sight, but by sensing what lies ahead. By trusting the signals the earth gives them. Consider how rain becomes part of this story. A single drop may fall far from any tree, but through soil it will travel, it will be carried, it will be found. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is hurried. And in time, roots will reach it. They will drink it in, and through them, that water will rise. Through stem, through leaf, into light again. The world turns in cycles like this, quiet and sure. Water falls, earth holds, roots reach, leaves lift. Over and over, a gentle exchange. You, too, are part of these cycles. What you take in, you carry forward. What nourishes you now may nourish others later, through words, through kindness, through simple presence. This is how connection works, unseen, but real. Like roots threading through soil, touching, supporting, strengthening one another beneath the surface where no eyes can follow. Even in forests where trees seem solitary, beneath the ground their roots are often joined. Through networks of fungi, through the soft touch of root against root, they share water, share nutrients, share quiet signals of care. What happens above is only half the story. Below, there is communion. There is support. There is resilience built in darkness. You do not always see the ways you are supported, the ways others help hold you up. But like the roots of trees, these connections run deep. Invisible. Vital. Enduring. Pause again. Feel the ground beneath you, not just as surface, but as depth. As a place where life continues unseen. Imagine roots now wrapping gently around stones, following fractures in rock, tracing the slow breath of the earth itself. They hold soil in place. They keep hills from sliding, rivers from running wild. They stitch the world together beneath our feet. And they do this without need for praise, without hunger for recognition. Simply because it is their way. Consider how patience shapes them. How they move not in days, but in seasons. How they teach a kind of strength that does not shout, but endures. There is wisdom here, in how roots remember rain. In how they know when to hold on, when to wait, when to reach just a little further. You can feel this wisdom in yourself if you listen. In the quiet instincts that tell you when to pause. When to rest. When to trust that nourishment will come even if you cannot yet see it. And so, as you breathe tonight, imagine yourself like a tree. Your roots deep, your branches light. Held in place by the gentle strength of all you have come through. Fed by what the earth offers, in its time, in its way. Ahead of you, more stories wait to unfold. More connections to be discovered. But for now, let this be enough. To know you are grounded. To know you are sustained. To know you are part of something older and wiser than any single moment. The roots beneath you do not rush. They do not question. They follow the slow path of water through soil, the memory of rain guiding them onward. And as you drift now toward sleep, this quiet thought lingers. What other hidden networks hold us up? What quiet exchanges shape the life we see, from root to leaf, from earth to sky? Chapter 4, The Breath Beneath the Bark. You are still. The night wraps softly around you. Your breath moves in and out, slow and steady now. But somewhere near. In the hush of a garden, the quiet of a forest, even the lone tree outside your window, something else is breathing too. Not with lungs. Not with ribs rising and falling. But with leaves, with bark, with 1,000 tiny pores opening and closing in rhythm with the light. Trees breathe. They draw in carbon dioxide, release oxygen. They exhale what you need. And you, in turn, breathe out what they require. A quiet partnership older than memory, older than words. Beneath their bark, inside their trunks, a secret breath moves. Sap rises slowly, pulled upward not by muscle but by light's quiet invitation. Water journeys from roots through vessels thinner than a strand of hair, slipping past cells like whispered words passed hand to hand. Xylem, that is what scientists call the wood's inner pathways, a name like something ancient and secretive. It is there that water climbs, carrying nutrients gathered in darkness upward toward the light. It is there that air touches liquid, that life flows unseen. bark seems still, solid, impenetrable. But beneath it, a living system hums in silence. Layers upon layers of cells, exchanging, growing, repairing. A tree's skin, yes, but also its lungs, its nerves, its quiet heart. And wrapped around that beating center is the cambium, the thin veil where growth unfurls each spring, where rings begin to form. Each year adds another story beneath the bark. A story of rain, of drought, of fire, of calm seasons stretched long and golden. If you press your hand to bark, you cannot feel this breath. But it is there. Rising. Falling. Drawing life up from soil, offering life back into air. Think of how this breath connects to your own. How the air filling your lungs now once passed through leaves, through needles, through the green breath of forests far away. How the oxygen you exhale tonight will find its way back into roots and stems, becoming part of another silent exhale beneath bark. This is how the earth breathes. Not all at once. Not in great gasps. But in countless small exchanges, leaf to air, air to lung, lung to tree, tree to sky. In the Amazon, in a city park, in a quiet grove at the edge of a sleeping field, the breath moves on. Invisible. Indispensable. Continuous. And just as breath flows within trees, so does time. Their rings widen with patience. Their branches rise with intention. Their roots deepen without hurry. What seems unmoving holds within it motion beyond what eyes can see. Tonight, as you rest, think of your breath as part of this larger rhythm. Not separate. Not solitary. But connected, to leaf, to rain, to root, to sky. Inhale. Somewhere, a tree exhales. Exhale. Somewhere, roots drink deeper. Even when storms tear branches down, even when seasons change, the breath beneath bark continues. New shoots rise where old ones fell. Sap remembers the path it took before. Growth rewrites itself patiently upon the canvas of wood and time. This is not the rush of lungs filling and emptying. It is slower. More deliberate. A breath stretched across years, across lifetimes. And within this breath, water hums. Pulled upward not by force, but by the subtle tension between earth and sky. Evaporation from leaves draws more water upward, like threads pulling gently in a tapestry unseen. A dance between root and leaf, soil and sun. Imagine it now, water rising in silence, carrying with it minerals from deep below, lifting them higher, feeding cells, nourishing growth. This is the breath within the tree, air exchanged, water moved, life continued. You, too, carry water. You, too, exchange breath with the world. Your body, like the tree, is part of this endless movement between earth and sky. Pause. Breathe. Feel it. What rises in you as breath once rose in forests. What leaves you becomes part of something wider, something ongoing. Beneath bark, life moves without pause. Cells divide. New wood forms. Scars close slowly over wounds, not with urgency but with patience. Think of the trees you have passed without noticing. Their rough skin hiding soft breath, hiding rivers of water, hiding networks older than the roads you walk. Think of how they stand, not in defiance of time, but in harmony with it. Growing when growth is slow. Resting when rest is needed. Breathing always. Offering you air in exchange for nothing more than your silent presence. Tonight, as you drift, imagine yourself part of this exchange. Your breath feeding unseen leaves. Their breath feeding your quiet heart in return. In the deep night, there is no need for haste. Only breath moving in cycles, yours, theirs, the earth's. What else moves beneath the surface, unseen? What quiet rhythms shape the world while we sleep, while we wait, while we dream? Chapter 5, The Green Alchemy of Chlorophyll. You walk beneath trees, beneath ferns, beneath creeping vines that soften the edges of stone. Above you, leaves catch light the way your skin catches warmth. Tenderly, without sound, without fuss. Inside those leaves, something small and green waits. Chlorophyll. Not just a pigment, not just color, but a quiet alchemist working in every corner where green meets light. It does not shout. It does not rush. It simply receives. Light falls upon it, sunlight that has traveled across 93 million miles of space, across time, through clouds, through air, and chlorophyll welcomes it in. Inside the cell, chlorophyll holds light the way your hand might hold a cup of water. It gathers photons, small packages of energy, and sets them gently to work. Imagine this, a tiny workshop smaller than a grain of dust. Inside, particles of light knock loose electrons, which set off chains of movement, reactions like dancers passing energy hand to hand. The chloroplast, the house where chlorophyll lives, hums softly with this silent labor. Water from the roots is split apart here. Hydrogen kept close, oxygen let go. Released back into air where you will find it again in the next breath you take. Carbon dioxide, pulled gently from air, is stitched into new forms, sugars, starches, the quiet food of growth. All of it begun by chlorophyll's soft hand turning sunlight into something the body of a tree can hold. You might think of magic. But it is older than spells, older than words for wonder. It is chemistry shaped by time, perfected by patience. Green is not just color. Green is work. Green is life catching fire softly and holding it steady, turning it into the building blocks of forests, of gardens, of fields heavy with harvest. Chlorophyll is tireless. It fills leaves in spring, spreads wide in summer, fades only when light grows scarce. Its task is constant, transform light into life, keep the cycle unbroken. And through this silent labor, whole ecosystems wake. Flowers bloom. Fruits swell. Seeds form and scatter. Animals feed. You breathe. Because chlorophyll holds light, you hold breath. Because it works unseen, your body works without pause. In the great forests of the Amazon, in the floating mats of green upon still ponds, in the fragile leaves pressed between pages of forgotten books, chlorophyll continues. Everywhere it exists, it performs this same green alchemy. Tonight, as you close your eyes, picture the leaves above you glowing faintly with the energy they catch. Picture the invisible pathways where photons become sugars, where carbon becomes substance, where breath becomes possible. The world rests upon this quiet chemistry. Not in grand monuments, not in loud inventions. But in the softness of green, in the patience of leaves. Each blade of grass, each fern frond curling slow in morning light, carries within it the story of sunlight made solid. Of air made food. Of energy captured and shared. And you, lying still now, are part of this exchange. You move through a world built by chlorophyll's slow, deliberate art. Your breath, your bones, the warmth in your chest, all trace back to this ancient dance between light and green. Even oceans are touched by this. Tiny algae floating beneath the waves catch sunlight too, filling the waters with unseen breath, unseen growth. Their green is hidden beneath blue, but it works just the same, patient, continuous. Without it, no forests would rise. No animals would roam. No cities would gleam beneath the sun. You live in a world lit not just by stars, but by leaves. By the small, steady miracle of chlorophyll gathering light, shaping it, releasing it in forms your body can understand. This is the breath beneath the breath. The food beneath the food. The beginning beneath all beginnings. And like all beginnings, it starts quietly. With light. With green. With something too small to see, too important to ignore. Tomorrow, leaves will open again. Chlorophyll will stir beneath their surfaces. Light will arrive as it always has, and the green alchemy will begin anew. There is no need to rush. No need to force. It happens in its own time, its own rhythm, its own gentle pace. Much like you, lying here. Much like your breath, rising and falling with the night. Chlorophyll waits for morning. You wait for sleep. Both of you moving through unseen cycles of change, of gathering, of quiet creation. And as you drift further now, consider this. What other transformations unfold in silence, beneath notice? What other gentle magics turn light into life, sorrow into strength, rest into renewal? Not all miracles announce themselves. Some wear the softest shades of green and simply do their work, unchanged, unchanging. Somewhere, even now, a leaf holds light for you. Somewhere, even now, green continues to turn sunlight into the promise of breath. And as you sleep, your breath returns to the air. Ready for the next leaf, the next morning, the next soft act of alchemy. Chapter 6, Roots Beneath, Stars Above. Beneath you, beneath the soft floor of forests and the firm ground of fields, something quiet stretches outward. Roots. They move not with haste, not with noise, but with steady purpose. You walk upon the earth. Roots walk beneath it. They reach in darkness, through soil and stone, tracing secret paths where no light follows. Roots do not seek light. They seek something deeper. Water. Nutrients. Stability. They anchor the tree to earth as leaves stretch towards sky. It is a partnership as old as life itself. Above, sun, wind, breath. Below, earth, water, grip. Roots do more than hold. They listen. They sense. They speak in ways beyond sound. Tiny hairs along their length feel moisture, trace minerals, follow warmth. They reach not blindly, but wisely, adjusting their paths by touch and taste. Some coil gently around stone, some split soil wide. Each rootlet threads through darkness with patience you can only imagine. There is no rush beneath the ground. Time here moves slow, like deep water or sleeping thought. But always, roots are working. In forests, roots link tree to tree, plant to plant. Through thin threads of fungi, they share messages, warnings, even food. This underground web hums with life unseen. A tree in drought may call to others for aid. Nutrients flow in secret, passed hand to hand beneath the soil. Older trees feed younger shoots, saplings lean into the network for strength. Scientists call it the wood wide web. But to roots, it is simply home, connection, survival, kinship written in earth instead of words. You walk above, unaware of the conversations below. Of roots tapping into stone, into ancient water, into networks older than mountains. Of fungi weaving between them, binding life to life beneath your feet. Roots remember what the surface forgets. They store water for seasons of thirst. They hold firm against winds that tear at branches. They pull slow strength from places leaves can never reach. Even in deserts, roots stretch impossibly far for the promise of rain. Even in forests, they map the underground like hands feeling in darkness for another's touch. What is beneath shapes what grows above. Roots feed the leaves. Leaves feed the roots. Photosynthesis creates sugars that flow downward, feeding the roots' slow work. Roots gather minerals that climb upward, feeding the leaf's bright hunger. Together, they keep the cycle turning, light to leaf, leaf to root, root to sky. Imagine now the depth beneath a single tree. Roots mirroring branches, spreading wide, unseen. Anchoring against storms, drawing from rivers you will never see. The tree you pass without notice stands not alone, but upheld by a labyrinth beneath. A quiet architecture of strength and seeking. Roots do not envy stars. They know their place is below. They know sky is held steady by earth, and earth is held steady by them. In time, roots may crack stone, shift soil, reshape the land. Not through force, but persistence. Not through speed, but presence. The tallest redwood began with a root smaller than a thread. The mightiest oak began with a taproot searching down through soft dirt. What grows above cannot outgrow what supports it below. Even your breath, your balance, your steps rely on roots, those of trees, those of history, those of connection stretching unseen beneath your daily life. Tonight, as you rest, think of roots weaving beneath you. Softly pressing through earth. Silently holding sky. Think of how they link, one tree to another, one plant to another, a whole forest bound in silent conversation. Above you, leaves may flutter. Beneath you, roots whisper. Together, they hold the shape of the world steady. And in this holding, you are held too. Your breath part of the exchange. Your sleep cradled by what grows below. Not all life seeks the sun. Some seek darkness, depth, the quiet work of holding on. Roots remind you, strength begins unseen. Stability grows in silence. Connection lives beneath surface things. Tonight, roots reach a little further. Tomorrow, leaves rise a little higher. And between them, life continues, slow, certain, beautifully unseen. As you drift deeper now, let your thoughts sink softly like roots through soil. Down past worry, past noise, past the surface of thought. There, in the calm beneath, you find the same steady work. Seeking what nourishes. Holding what matters. Preparing quietly for whatever comes next. And somewhere ahead, where roots and leaves meet again, another question waits. How does water find its way upward, against gravity, through wood and time? But for now, rest. Let roots hold you. Let darkness feed you. Let silence remind you of all the connections still unfolding beneath the surface. Chapter 7, The Slow Climb of Water. Somewhere far beneath you, in the hush of cool soil, a single drop of water begins its slow ascent. It does not rush. It does not struggle. It simply rises, drawn upward through fine root hairs, welcomed into the hidden veins of a plant's body. You might think of water as heavy, as something pulled down by gravity. And yet here, beneath the ground, it begins to move against that pull, following an ancient invitation written in the language of life. Upward. Always upward. Through roots wrapped around stone, through stems slender or thick, through trunks broad as buildings, water climbs in silence. This is no small feat. Imagine lifting a single drop of water from the depths of a well to the heights of a canopy, without pump or machine. Yet nature does it, not with force, but with patience, with persistence, with delicate pulls invisible to your eyes. The roots gather water, but it is the leaves that call it higher. Each leaf, reaching for sunlight, loses moisture to the air with every breath. This loss, this gentle evaporation, tugs at the water below, a soft and steady pull, like thread unwinding from a spool. Scientists call this transpiration. But tonight, you need only think of it as the sky's invitation, whispered through green veins. The water hears. It obeys. Molecule by molecule, it moves from darkness toward light. Through xylem, tiny tubes running the length of stems and trunks, water ascends in columns unbroken. Not pushed by muscles, not forced by engines, but drawn by bonds so small you cannot see them. Cohesion. Adhesion. Forces gentle yet strong, holding each molecule to the next, to the walls of its path. Upward. Always upward. A tree may stand silent, unmoving to your eye. Yet inside, water flows day and night, rising hundreds of feet, answering the soft thirst of leaves above. Pause for a moment and imagine this journey from the water's view. Through dark soil, into thirsty roots, past stones and sleeping seeds. Up through narrow chambers, past knots and rings of old wood, higher and higher, following a path shaped by sunlight far away. It passes sleeping insects tucked beneath bark. It moves beside sugar flowing downward from leaves. It carries with it minerals gathered from earth, feeding green life with every step. And when at last it reaches the leaf, it finds release, slipping into cells, into light, into the breath of the sky itself. Exhaled into air. Evaporated into clouds. Carried by winds toward some distant rain yet to come. This is how forests drink and breathe. How grass grows tall. How flowers bloom. How life bridges earth and sky. You think of rain falling down. But before rain, there is this, water rising up. A quiet defiance of gravity, powered not by strength, but by the longing of leaves for light. Without this climb, there would be no green. No shade. No fruit. No forests to walk beneath, no air as you know it to breathe. The journey of water sustains the world. Slow, sure, invisible, yet everywhere. And it mirrors your own movements in quieter ways. The rise and fall of breath. The steady pulse of blood. The slow reaching of thought toward understanding. Upward. Always upward. Roots do not hold water for themselves alone. They pass it on, upward, outward, toward life unfolding at the edge of light. The next time you stand beneath a tree, remember. Far below, water began this journey long before you arrived. Long after you leave, it will continue. Rising through roots, through wood, through green. A cycle older than words. A dance between ground and sky. Even now, as you listen, leaves somewhere are breathing out the water that began deep beneath. Even now, roots somewhere are pulling in what rain left behind. Nothing wasted. Nothing hurried. Everything connected. And as you drift deeper into rest, your thoughts might follow this path. From darkness to light, from soil to sky, from the smallest rootlet to the highest leaf. Upward. Always upward. Until, perhaps, you wonder. If water climbs with such patience, with such certainty, where else might quiet persistence carry you? But that is a question for another night. For now, let water rise. Let roots hold steady. Let leaves reach out. Let your breath follow the rhythm of trees, in, out, rise, release. And somewhere ahead, beyond branches, beyond clouds, another wonder waits. How does light, captured by green leaves, become the food of life itself? But for now, rest. And let the water climb. Chapter 8, Where Water Meets Light. High above the soil where roots sleep, far from the darkness where water first stirred, something gentle begins to happen. The water that has climbed so patiently now meets its destination, a single, sunlit leaf. Here, in this thin slice of green, two ancient forces meet, light and water. Their meeting is not loud. It makes no sound you can hear. Yet within this quiet exchange, the foundation of life begins again. The sun sends its light across millions of miles, reaching down through atmosphere, through air, through space itself. And now, it falls upon this leaf, upon this water, upon this waiting cell. Inside the green are tiny structures, chloroplasts, small beyond sight, yet vast in purpose. They are like kitchens tucked within each cell, like artist studios where raw materials become something new. The water arrives, carrying with it the memory of rain and rivers and clouds long past. The light arrives, carrying energy ancient as the stars. Together, they begin a quiet transformation. You have heard the word before, photosynthesis. But tonight, think of it like this. A soft alchemy, a dance of particles, a recipe that turns light into nourishment. Inside these green cells, light strikes molecules and breaks them apart, like a key unlocking a hidden door. Water, once whole, splits into hydrogen and oxygen. The oxygen drifts away, a gift to the air you breathe. The hydrogen stays behind, held close, combined with carbon gathered from the sky. Slowly, gently, sugar is formed, the sweet currency of life. Sugar feeds the leaf. The leaf feeds the tree. The tree feeds the world. But more than food is made here. More than nourishment flows outward. Oxygen, released like a quiet sigh, fills the spaces between leaves and clouds, between lungs and sky. Every breath you take tonight holds a trace of this meeting, water and light, leaf and sun. Without it, there would be no green, no blue, no breathing. Without it, there would be no fields, no forests, no fruit, no flowers. No quiet paths beneath trees, no shade to rest beneath, no rhythm of seasons as you know them. All of this begins here, not in soil, not in root, but in light meeting water, in leaf meeting sun. Pause now. Picture the vast forest of leaves above you. Picture them drinking light, holding water, turning one into the other with infinite care. This happens not in one place but everywhere. In the canopy above a jungle. In the soft green of moss upon stone. In the tiny floating leaves upon a pond. Everywhere light touches green, this transformation hums quietly. And though you cannot see it, though you cannot hear it, you feel its gift in every breath, in every meal, in every soft unfolding of life. Imagine standing beneath such a tree tomorrow. Imagine knowing, beneath bark and branch and leaf, this miracle continues, slowly, surely, silently. You may feel small beneath its height, beneath its age, beneath its quiet labor. But you are connected to it. You are part of this exchange. Your breath feeds the leaves as surely as their breath feeds you. Inhale. Exhale. Light becomes sugar. Sugar becomes growth. Growth becomes shade, shelter, seed. The world turns slowly on these quiet hinges. And yet, for all its silence, this process shapes planets. It fills the air with oxygen. It stores sunlight within wood, within fruit, within grain. It balances oceans and skies. It cradles every creature born beneath sun and cloud. You may think this simple: light meets water, green meets sun. But simplicity often holds the deepest magic. Here, in this exchange, is the origin of forests, of harvests, of breath itself. Here, in this greenlit chamber, energy becomes life. Rest in this thought. Let it carry you gently. Let it remind you, small things, done quietly, shape worlds. As you drift further toward sleep, picture those tiny chloroplasts beneath the skin of every leaf, working without rest. Picture water rising still, light falling still, life unfolding still. And wonder, softly. If this is what happens where water meets light, what else might happen when life meets time? But for now, breathe. Let leaves do their quiet work. Let water climb, let light fall, let sugar form. Ahead waits another question, wrapped in the fabric of green. How does this sugar, born of light, travel through the tree, through the plant, through the veins of life itself? But tonight, rest. You are cradled beneath leaves. You are breathing with trees. And somewhere above, water meets light, again and again. Chapter 9, The Secret Rivers Inside the Trees. Imagine, beneath the surface of every tree you pass, there flows a river you cannot see. Not like the wild rivers of mountains or valleys, not loud or rushing or filled with waves. This river moves in silence. It carries not water alone but something more delicate, the sweetness made from light itself. Inside the tree, beneath bark and layer and cell, tiny vessels run like threads in a great tapestry. They are called phloem, but you don't need to remember the name. Think of them as soft rivers, narrow and patient, winding through the heart of the tree. Through these inner paths, sugars travel. Sugars born from light, from water, from air. Sugars crafted quietly in green leaves beneath the sun. And now, these sugars must move. Not downward only, though roots hunger for them. Not upward only, though fruits ripen high above. No, this movement wins in all directions, feeding what is young, what is growing, what is storing strength for seasons to come. Picture it, inside the trunk, inside the stems, a slow, steady flow. Not hurried like your bloodstream, not pulsing like your heart. This river moves with a patience older than thought, older than memory, older even than seasons themselves. It moves because of need. Wherever a cell hungers, it draws upon this stream. Wherever growth whispers, wherever a bud forms, wherever a root tip reaches, sugar arrives. Slowly. Surely. Without sound, without rush, without waste. The tree knows how to share its light-born treasure. It knows where to send sweetness, how to balance hunger and storage, how to prepare for what comes next. In spring, more to leaves. In summer, more to fruit. In autumn, more to roots, to hold through winter's sleep. This quiet generosity keeps the tree alive. It feeds not only itself but all who come, birds, insects, creatures who nibble leaves or sip from fruit. It feeds the forest floor with falling leaves, with withering bark, with seeds carried far. Light becomes sugar. Sugar becomes life. Life becomes forest. And the forest, in time, returns to light again. There is beauty in this cycle. Not grand or loud or swift, but constant. Steady. Like your breath beneath the weight of sleep. You may wonder how this flow begins. How does the tree know where to send its sweetened gift? How does one cell ask, another give? The answer lies in pressure, in balance, in the tender pull of one place upon another. Where sugars build, pressure grows. Where sugars are needed, pressure falls. And between these two, the river flows, moving from more to less, from full to empty, from giver to seeker. No map charts this path. No command controls it. Only need and supply, only hunger and gift, only the silent wisdom of life unfolding as it has for millennia. Think of this as you drift. Think of how you, too, are carried by unseen currents, of breath, of thought, of sleep itself. You rise and fall upon tides you cannot see but surely feel. The tree feels its own tides, sap rising, sugars drifting, life moving inward and outward with each changing season. And within these flows, within these rivers, is written the quiet story of survival. Of resilience. Of patience. Even in winter, when leaves have fallen, when branches seem bare, these rivers continue, deep beneath bark, deep within wood. They carry memory forward. They prepare for spring's return. They hold the sweetness of light in the dark. And so, you see, a tree is never truly still. It breathes, it feeds, it remembers, it prepares. All in silence. All in secret. Let this thought rest with you now. Inside every tree you pass, a soft river runs. Inside every branch, sweetness flows. Inside every leaf, light once gathered is shared, given, offered freely. Your own body shares this rhythm. Blood moves through vessels. Air moves through lungs. Nourishment flows from mouth to cell. Life repeats itself in patterns, in currents, in cycles, from trees to you and back again. Sleep comes easier when you remember. Nothing living rushes without reason. Even sweetness takes its time. And beyond the trees, beyond the rivers inside, waits the next question, soft as breath. What becomes of this stored sweetness, this gathered light, when seasons shift again? But tonight, you drift with the rivers. You rest with the roots. You float within the quiet streams of sleep. And somewhere above, beneath bark, within green, the rivers carry on. Chapter 10, Roots that listen to the rain. Beneath your feet, hidden beneath grass, stone, and soil, something ancient is always reaching. Roots. They stretch downward, outward, not in haste but with great patience. They move slowly, but with purpose, following signals too soft for you to hear, signals written in moisture, in warmth, in the soft invitation of rain. A tree's roots are its quiet ears. Not ears as you know them, not organs shaped for sound, but structures tuned for touch. They sense where the earth softens, where the soil cools, where droplets gather unseen. When rain falls, roots listen. Not to the sound of drops against leaves or puddles on paths, but to the change beneath the surface. Water moves downward, pulled by gravity, slipping between grains of soil, pooling where roots might drink. And the roots feel this. They stretch toward it. They answer it with growth. Imagine their journey, through darkness, through resistance, through the hush of underground silence. They follow trails of wetness, thin as whispers. They split, branch, divide, fingers seeking, fingers finding. No map guides them. Only sensation. Only need. And beneath it all, a slow conversation unfolds. Soil speaks in moisture, in minerals, in texture. Roots reply in growth, in chemistry, in reach. A give and take older than language, deeper than sight. The rain above connects to the thirst below. Each drop falling finds its way into this dialogue, softening earth, guiding roots. These roots do more than drink. They hold the tree steady, anchor it against wind, ground it against flood. They store what the tree cannot use today, water, nutrients, the quiet potential of future strength. Through roots, trees share. Not just with themselves, but with one another. Beneath forests, beneath fields, roots tangle and touch. Through networks of fungi, through threads finer than hair, they exchange whispers of nourishment, warnings of drought, offers of help. One tree drinks deeply, another thirsts. Roots and fungi carry the message, share. And so sugars pass from plenty to need. Water moves where it's wanted. Support flows unseen, a kindness beneath the ground. Scientists call it the wood wide web. But to you, it can be something simpler. A reminder that even in darkness, connection persists. Even in silence, generosity lives. Roots teach this lesson well. They do not hoard what they find. They seek, they gather, they give. Always preparing, always sustaining, always linked to the life above. Picture them now beneath your favorite tree. Thin and thick, near and far, weaving through soil like threads in a hidden tapestry. Each root tip touches the world with care, sensing not just water, but life itself, bacteria, minerals, fungi, even the faint pulse of other roots nearby. A tree may seem alone above ground. But beneath, it lives in a crowded, humming city of life. Roots speak to rain, but they also listen to one another. They know when neighbors grow weak, when drought steals moisture, when danger nears. They respond not with panic, but with quiet shifts. Sending more here, less there. Balancing what is found with what is needed. And above, you walk, unaware. Each step you take rests upon this secret, steady world. You might wonder, how do roots know where to go? How do they find water so patiently, so precisely? The answer lives in gradients, in gentle differences of moisture, in the soft tug of chemistry. Roots grow toward more water, more nutrients, more space to stretch. They follow where the soil grows softer, where molecules cling more loosely, where the earth's grasp loosens in kindness. It is not magic. It is not thought. It is life, moving always toward what nourishes. As you drift now toward sleep, you share this journey. Your breath finds air, your cells seek energy, your mind moves toward calm. You too, are drawn by gradients, from wakefulness to rest, from noise to quiet, from light to the soft dark of dreaming. Beneath you, roots continue. They do not stop with nightfall. They reach on, gently, steadily, through soil shaped by centuries. And with every rain, they listen anew. Tomorrow, perhaps, water will come again. Roots will drink. Leaves will rise. And somewhere deep below, a network of kindness will grow a little wider. You might wonder, as your thoughts soften into dreams, how far these roots reach. Do they touch the roots of another tree far away? Do they know the shape of the hill, the depth of the stream, the nearness of rock? In time, yes. Roots learn the land beneath them, shaping themselves to its every fold. They map the earth not in lines or colors, but in growth and touch and memory. And so the rain, the roots, the soil form a quiet circle of care. Each feeds the other. Each holds the other up. Each waits with patience for what comes next. As your breathing slows, imagine the roots beneath you. Still reaching. Still listening. Still holding fast beneath the weight of earth and time. Above, leaves dream of light. Below, roots dream of rain. And somewhere between, in the hush of soil, the journey continues. Not hurried. Not lost. Only waiting, only growing, only listening. What happens next beneath the earth? What other stories unfold in silence, where roots and water meet? But for now, you rest. The roots reach on. And the rain will come again. Chapter 11, The Secret Conversations of Trees. You walk through a forest and think of trees as separate. One here. Another there. Each trunk standing on its own. Each branch reaching alone into the sky. But beneath your feet, a different story unfolds. Beneath the moss and soil, beneath fallen leaves and sleeping seeds, a web connects them. A web older than the trees themselves. A web of roots. A web of fungi. A web of life. It is called the mycorrhizal network. Scientists gave it this name, but the trees knew it long before science had words. It is not made of wires or signals or screens. It is made of living threads, thinner than hair, softer than silk, stretching through soil in endless silence. Through these threads, trees speak. Not in words. Not in sounds. In molecules. In sugars. In water. In quiet, chemical messages passed from root to root, from tree to tree. They share. They warn. They help. One tree senses drought. Its roots feel the dryness creeping in. It sends a message through the fungal threads, I am thirsty. Another tree, richer in water, answers, here, take some of mine. A young sapling, shaded by giants, struggles to survive. The older trees hear its quiet hunger. Through the network, they send sugars, nutrients, the fuel of life. Not too much. Just enough. Enough to help it grow. Enough to give it a chance. These are not acts of kindness as you know them. They are acts of survival. Because in a forest, no tree truly stands alone. If one falls, others suffer. If one thrives, others benefit. The network is a forest's secret heartbeat. It pulses not with blood, but with sharing. Not with noise, but with understanding. Even danger passes through these threads. When insects bite one tree's leaves, that tree sends out a silent warning, I am under attack. Nearby trees hear it. They ready their defenses. They strengthen their bark. They stiffen their leaves. Together, they prepare. Together, they survive. You might walk among them and never know. The ground looks still. The trunks look silent. But beneath, 1,000 messages flow every moment. Food. Water. Danger. Help. All passed in darkness. All answered without delay. Imagine this, you are a tree. Your leaves catch light. Your roots find water. But your life depends on neighbors you cannot see. You reach out. You connect. You share. Because in connection, there is strength. The fungi benefit, too. They trade their threads for sugars, for energy only trees can make from sunlight. Both give. Both receive. Both grow stronger together. This partnership is ancient. It began when the first plants moved onto land, long before animals walked or birds flew. Fungi helped roots take hold in hard earth. Roots fed fungi in return. Together, they shaped the world. Together, they still do. Every forest, every meadow, every patch of green owes its life to this unseen network. You may wonder, if trees share, do they favor their own? Do mother trees help their saplings more than strangers? Yes. Older trees recognize their young. Their roots entwine more deeply. Their gifts flow more freely. Family, even among trees, holds meaning. But even strangers receive help. A dying tree does not hoard its wealth. It releases its last sugars, its last minerals, into the network. A final gift to the forest. A quiet legacy left beneath the ground. And so the forest remembers. Through roots and threads, through giving and receiving, it remembers. Scientists map these networks with care, tracing lines beneath soil like veins beneath skin. They call it the Wood Wide Web. But to you, it can be something simpler. A reminder that connection often hides beneath stillness. That help flows unseen. That even in silence, nothing is truly alone. As you lie now, breathing slow and deep, imagine the forest at night. Leaves resting. Branches swaying in soft wind. Roots humming with quiet exchange beneath the earth. Messages pass beneath you, carried in darkness, answered in kind. A tree in need. A tree in plenty. Threads binding them together in a web of life. Above, the moon watches through branches. Below, roots listen through soil. And you, between them, held by both. What other secrets hide beneath the ground? What other conversations shape the life you see? The answers wait. In the soil. In the silence. In the spaces where roots meet rain, and trees share their breath with one another. But for now, let your thoughts grow soft. Like roots settling into warm earth. Like threads finding one another in the dark. Tomorrow's forest will continue its quiet conversation. And you will walk through it, knowing a little more of what lies beneath. Just beneath your feet, life speaks without words. And the trees are always listening. Chapter 12, The Sunlight Stored in Seeds. In your palm, you hold something small. Round, smooth, or maybe rough like a tiny stone. It doesn't move. It doesn't speak. But inside, something is already waiting. A seed is not just an object. It is a memory folded tightly, a whisper from a time when it was light, leaf, and sky. And now, in stillness, it keeps its promise. Inside every seed, sunlight sleeps. Not the sunbeam itself, but the energy, captured long ago by leaves reaching toward warmth. Through roots and stems, through fruit and flower, that energy gathered. And now, wrapped in this small shape, it waits again. The seed remembers. It remembers how to reach down, how to stretch up. It remembers the shape of roots, the hunger for light, the thirst for rain. All of this knowledge, held in silence. You can think of a seed as a story with no words, a future written in green code. Inside, cells. Inside those cells, instructions. How to build roots. How to form leaves. How to open wide to the sun. The genetic code hums inside, soft and invisible. Like music paused, ready to play when the time is right. What wakes a seed? Not sound. Not touch. It waits for water. It waits for warmth. It waits for time. Imagine the moment water seeps in. The shell softens. The heart inside begins to stir. First, a root, thin as a breath, reaches downward. Why down? Because gravity calls it. Because the earth offers safety, darkness, a place to hold tight. And then, slowly, a shoot reaches up. Why up? Because light calls it. Because the sun promises warmth, growth, the green unfolding of life. Roots know where to go. Leaves know how to find the sky. Not by thinking. Not by choice. By memory older than thought. Seeds have patience deeper than years. Some wait decades, sleeping in soil, in stone, in ice. And when the moment returns, warmth, water, light, they awaken. In deserts, seeds wait for rain that may not come for lifetimes. In ancient tombs, seeds sleep beside kings and queens. Still, they remember how to live. A single seed holds the shape of forests to come. Oaks, towering and broad, begin no larger than the press of your fingertip. Sunflowers, bright and wide, begin no heavier than a sigh. The energy that stirs them awake comes from stars. Long ago, light poured down to leaves, was caught, was stored. Passed into fruit, into seed, into future. You are part of this, too. You eat seeds. Grains, nuts, beans, stored sunlight made into food. Your body remembers the warmth of suns it never saw, through the quiet work of plants. And so, life turns. Sun to leaf. Leaf to fruit. Fruit to seed. Seed to root, to stem, to sky. And once more, to sun. Each cycle carries the memory forward. Each seed says, begin again. As you breathe now, imagine a field of seeds beneath the soil. Silent. Waiting. Listening for rain. Dreaming of light. Their patience is not wasted. Their stillness is not failure. It is readiness. Soon, they will split the earth. Soon, they will stretch green fingers upward. Soon, they will remember the warmth that called them here. And above them, leaves will catch light again. And inside those leaves, energy will gather. And inside that energy, future seeds will form. You turn the seed in your palm, and wonder, how many futures hide inside? How many forests, how many fields, how many breaths of air? Tonight, you rest. And somewhere beneath the soil, a root presses down. A shoot leans up. A promise unfolds, quietly, steadily, without fear. Not all beginnings are loud. Not all stories start with sound. Some begin in darkness, in soil, in silence. Some begin beneath your feet, unnoticed. But they begin. Always. The seed does not rush. The seed does not doubt. It waits, knowing the sun will come again. What other quiet beginnings are waiting now? What other promises sleep beneath the surface, unseen, untouched, but ready? Tomorrow, perhaps, you will notice a sprout where today there was only earth. Tomorrow, perhaps, you will remember the seed's patience as your own. For even in sleep, even in stillness, something inside you is waiting to unfold. Chapter 13, The Slow Intelligence of Roots. You walk above, but beneath your feet, another world lives in silence. It is not empty, not forgotten. It breathes through roots, long, winding, reaching fingers of life. Roots are the hidden half of things. For every tree you see, twice as much waits below. For every flower that turns its face to the sun, another part turns inward, downward. Not toward light, but toward depth. toward nourishment, toward understanding. Roots are not blind. They read the soil like you might read a map. They taste minerals, sense moisture, feel the pull of gravity beneath. Imagine moving through darkness, slowly, without fear. Imagine touching the earth with soft fingertips, learning where to go not by sight but by touch. This is how roots know. They stretch through soil the way thoughts stretch through your mind, searching, branching, connecting. Where the ground is rich, they pause to drink. Where the ground is hard, they turn aside, patient as the seasons. Roots do not rush. They measure time in decades, in centuries. They listen to rain in whispers through earth. They feel footsteps above, but remain unhurried, unmoved by noise. In forests, roots hold hands beneath the earth. One tree reaches another, shares food, shares warning, shares care. Old roots cradle young shoots. Dying roots feed the soil so others may live. This underground network is not chaos. It is intelligence. Slow. Silent. Deep. It remembers the shape of stones, the breath of water, the warmth of sun above translated through soil. Roots speak in chemistry, not language. Signals pass from one to another, danger, drought, hunger. They send help where help is needed. They hold together hillsides, forests, entire landscapes with their quiet strength. Even a small plant knows where to reach. A sprout in a pot will circle until it finds room to stretch. It feels the edges of its world and seeks gently for more. You, too, have roots, though not of soil. Your roots are memory, family, kindness is given and received. They hold you steady when winds rise. They remind you where you've been, even when you cannot see ahead. Imagine being a root tonight. Slow. Still. Listening. Letting the dark become familiar, letting patience become strength. Some roots dive deep as buildings are tall. Some spread wide, anchoring trees against storm and time. Some send up new shoots far away, beginning again in secret. The world beneath us is a web of quiet resilience. Roots are the keepers of this wisdom. They do not compete for the sky. They share the earth. And where roots meet fungus, another kind of conversation begins. Microscopic threads weave through root and soil, carrying messages, sharing resources. The forest speaks beneath itself, softly, in ways science is only beginning to understand. You walk above this world without seeing it. But tonight, as you rest, imagine sinking softly into earth. Not to vanish, but to connect. To feel the steadiness of things unseen. The roots do not fear darkness. They make it home. They turn earth into sustenance, stone into strength. What grows above depends on what holds firm below. No blossom, no branch, no fruit arrives without this hidden labor. And so, in sleep, you mirror this lesson. You grow quietly inside, beneath the surface of thought. You reach slowly toward what nourishes you, toward peace, toward calm. Not every movement needs light. Not every journey needs to be seen. Some of the most important paths are the ones that take you deeper, not farther. As roots deepen, they remember old rains, old floods, old droughts. They adapt. They do not give up. They bend. They wait. They hold. Imagine the weight of a mountain softened by roots holding earth in place. Imagine a forest saved from collapse because roots refuse to let go. There is strength in staying. There is wisdom in knowing when to reach deeper, not wider. Tonight, as you listen, your breath settles like soil around you. Soft. Protective. Patient. Inside, unseen, you are growing new roots of your own. Roots of understanding. Of calm. Of quiet strength. Above you, leaves may flutter in moonlight. Above you, winds may wander. But below, deep below, something steady holds firm. And tomorrow, perhaps, you will walk lighter knowing this. That you are connected. That you are held. That beneath every step, there is a quiet intelligence waiting, watching, learning still. The roots go deeper. And so will you. But what calls to the roots from above? What light, what warmth, what promise makes all this patience worth it? Chapter 14, Sunlight in Slow Motion. You've heard that light moves faster than anything else. It races through space, untouchable, unstoppable. Yet when it touches Earth, something strange happens. Light slows down, not in speed, but in purpose. It becomes part of something far more patient. It becomes life. The sun shines every day, whether you notice it or not. It pours golden energy across oceans, deserts, mountaintops. But its journey doesn't end there. Leaves are waiting. Silent, still, held out like hands beneath the sky. They catch the light, not the warmth, not the brightness, but something deeper. Inside each leaf, light begins a quiet transformation. It becomes sugar. It becomes energy stored for later. It becomes the slow, green heartbeat of the world. Photosynthesis is the word science gives to this miracle. But the leaf doesn't speak the word. It simply opens itself, patiently, to receive. Imagine a single ray of sunlight landing on a leaf. Inside, tiny factories. Chloroplasts begin their work. They take water pulled from roots. They take carbon dioxide from air. They take the light itself. And from these simple things, they weave sustenance. Sugar is not just sweetness. It is future wood, future fruit, future breath. It is the promise of growth, held in invisible hands. All around you, this quiet work continues without pause. Trees become taller. Flowers unfold. Fields turn green in spring because the sun has been captured, sip by sip. You eat because plants caught light. You breathe because leaves gave back oxygen. Your body moves because your cells turn food, once sunlight, into motion. Light is not just something you see. It is something you become. Beneath your skin, deep in your blood, are atoms that were once touched by sun. Every heartbeat is fueled by yesterday's light, transformed into energy, released into warmth. Think of this as you rest tonight. You are not separate from the sky. You are part of the endless exchange between sun and earth, between light and life. The light you felt on your face today began its journey long ago. It left the sun's surface 8 minutes before it touched you. Before that, it spent thousands of years traveling from the sun's core to its edge. In a way, the light you feel now is ancient. Older than memory. Older than thought. And yet, it is new every morning. Light doesn't hurry to find you. It arrives exactly when it should. It meets the leaves when they are ready. It meets you in moments of stillness, moments of warmth, moments when you pause long enough to notice. Imagine moving through life like sunlight, steady, patient, full of quiet purpose. Not everything rushes. Not everything needs to. The leaves know this. The roots know this. The sun itself teaches this, rising and setting without haste. In your own body, photosynthesis echoes softly. Not through chlorophyll, but through breath. You take in oxygen, a gift from leaves. You release carbon dioxide. A gift back to them. 24. You are part of this cycle, even as you sleep. Each inhale is a continuation of an ancient rhythm. Each exhale feeds the future. Light, turned into green. Green, turned into air. Air, turned into breath. Breath, turned into thought. Thought, turned into wonder. And so tonight, as you close your eyes, imagine yourself wrapped in slow light. Not blinding, not sharp, but soft, diffuse, like dawn through clouds. Let that light move through you the way it moves through leaves. Transforming, nourishing, becoming something new inside. You do not need to understand every step. The leaf does not understand. It simply trusts. You can trust, too. Trust that light finds you. Trust that life unfolds in its own quiet rhythm. Trust that you are part of something vast, something gentle, something timeless. Outside, trees stretch slowly upward. Inside, your thoughts stretch slowly inward. Both are reaching for the same thing, connection, warmth, belonging. What begins as light becomes so much more. It becomes forests. It becomes oceans. It becomes breath shared between strangers. It becomes tomorrow's seeds. It becomes tomorrow's dreams. And in this slow motion, in this unfolding that takes years, centuries, lifetimes, there is peace. There is calm. Above you, the sun continues its quiet path. Below you, roots continue their patient work. Within you, light continues its gentle transformation. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is hurried. Even now, in this soft moment, something is growing quietly inside you. Something touched by light, shaped by stillness, carried forward by breath. And where will this light lead next? What becomes of energy once it leaves the leaf, and enters the living world? Chapter 15, From Leaves to Life, the Sugar That Feeds the World. Close your eyes and imagine something impossibly small. A single molecule of sugar, born beneath the skin of a leaf. It is soft energy, wrapped in carbon and sunlight. It holds the memory of warmth, of sky, of rain. Inside the leaf, this sugar is made with such quiet care. Piece by piece, atoms gather, stitched together by invisible threads. Carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, woven into something sweet. This is glucose. Simple. Gentle. Essential. And this is where your journey continues tonight. Because that tiny sugar, made in silence, does not stay inside the leaf forever. It travels. It moves through the veins of the plant like a secret message. Down through stems, into roots, out toward fruits and seeds. Some of it will be stored for winter. Some will help build new buds, new shoots, new leaves. Some will feed tiny roots reaching out in the dark soil. But some of that sugar will reach further still. It will feed animals who nibble leaves. It will sweeten the fruit that ripens in the sun. It will fill seeds with the quiet potential to begin again. And through this sharing, this giving, this gentle chain, it will find its way to you. The food you eat tonight, bread, fruit, rice, vegetables, all began as sunlight caught by leaves. All of it is the softened memory of light, turned into nourishment by patient plants. You may not taste the sun directly, but your body knows. Your cells know. Your breath knows. Inside you, sugar becomes something new again. It breaks apart in tiny reactions, releasing the energy it holds. This is called cellular respiration. It is photosynthesis, reversed. Instead of making sugar from light, your cells take sugar and give you life. They use it to power your thoughts, your heartbeat, your dreams. They turn it into warmth, into movement, into the gentle rise and fall of your breath as you rest. You are, in every way, made of light transformed. Imagine now the journey of a single bite of fruit. Perhaps an apple, ripened slowly in summer sun. That apple carried the sunlight through its skin, through its sweet flesh, through the sugar it stored. You take a bite. That sugar becomes part of you. Your blood carries it to every cell in your body. In each cell, tiny engines called mitochondria begin their work. They take the sugar, the oxygen you breathe, and they create energy. Not loud, not fast, but steady, constant, like a soft drumbeat inside you. The energy becomes warmth in your chest. It becomes the strength to close your eyes, to let your body soften, to slip toward sleep. Even now, as you listen, this quiet exchange continues. Sugar turned to energy. Energy turned to life. You are not separate from the trees, from the plants, from the leaves beneath the sky. You are part of this endless story. You are living proof of the sun's long journey. Think of this as you rest. The food you ate today holds the memory of green fields, of roots searching deep in the earth. It carries the patient work of leaves unfolding at dawn. It holds the softness of rain, the whisper of wind through branches. You are connected to all of it. In your blood, in your bones, in the quiet rhythm of your breath. Light becomes sugar. Sugar becomes energy. Energy becomes thought, feeling, warmth, life. And tomorrow, the plants will begin again. They will lift their leaves toward the sky. They will catch the light as they have always done. They will make more sugar. They will feed the world. There is a kindness in this cycle. A gentleness in knowing that the smallest things sustain the greatest. That sweetness is not just in taste, but in the slow, invisible work of keeping life alive. Consider the honeybee gathering nectar. The cow grazing in a sunlit meadow. The bird pecking at seeds beneath a tree. All of them carry the sunlight forward, passing it from mouth to muscle, from wing to feather, from breath to song. And so do you. You are not apart from this, you are within it. Made of it. Sustained by it. The next time you feel tired, or hungry, or simply still, remember. Inside you, light is becoming life, again and again. No rush. No need to force. Your body knows how to receive, how to transform, how to rest in the rhythm of this ancient exchange. Even the smallest breath you take now is part of something vast. A network of roots and leaves, of sun and soil, of sky and water. And somewhere beyond this moment, a seed waits beneath the earth. Waiting to rise. Waiting to catch the light. Waiting to begin again the quiet work of turning sunlight into sugar, sugar into life. But how does this energy, passed through food, shape the bodies of those who consume it? How does it become not just nourishment, but form, structure, and strength? Chapter 16, The Architecture of Energy, How Plants Build, How Bodies Grow. Rest now, and let your thoughts move slowly. Like roots sinking down, like branches stretching upward. Everything around you is built from the quiet work of energy turned to form. Plants, animals, even you, shaped by the steady unfolding of molecules, of time, of purpose. Begin again beneath the leaf. There, in the green stillness, sugar is born not just to feed, but to build. These molecules are more than fuel, they are bricks. They form the walls of cells, the skins of fruits, the fibers of stems that hold leaves toward the sun. This sugar, simple and sweet, links with others to create cellulose. Cellulose becomes the scaffold, the silent architecture of plants. It gives strength to trees, to grasses, to every green shoot. It is why a blade of grass can stand. Why a tree can rise for centuries, holding up sky with branches spread wide. Imagine the forests growing, each leaf capturing light, each stem strengthening with every passing season. Their bodies are maps of energy turned solid. And when you eat, when you take in the fruits of this slow building, your body learns the same art. The sugars from plants, transformed through breath and blood, offer not only warmth but substance. They help craft the materials of your being. The proteins that form your muscles. The bones that hold you upright. The skin that softens your edges. Inside you, cells take pieces from your food and rearrange them with quiet wisdom. Carbon from plants becomes part of you. Hydrogen and oxygen, once held in green leaves, now shape the waters of your blood. Even now, as you lie still, this silent construction continues. Tissues repairing. Hair growing. Bones renewing in their hidden depths. You are not fixed. You are always becoming. Every cell within you hums with tiny architects at work. They pull from the sugars of yesterday's meal. They shape today's heartbeat, tomorrow's skin, the dreams forming beneath your resting mind. Your body is not separate from nature's patterns. It follows them, mirrors them. Like trees building rings, like rivers carving stone. Growth is written into your very being. Think of a sapling pushing up through soil, its leaves unfurling in slow motion strength. You grew this way too, from cells dividing, from sugars feeding your quiet expansion. Even now, in stillness, you grow. Not only outward, but inward. Patience deepening. Wisdom layering. Calm settling into the structure of who you are. What began as sunlight, caught in the trembling green of a leaf, becomes you. Muscle to carry you forward. Skin to hold you whole. Bones to keep you steady beneath the pull of gravity. The same energy that lifted trees toward the sky lifts you toward your own becoming. Consider the architecture of a tree. Its roots hidden but essential. Its trunk solid, carrying water and strength. Its branches reaching outward, gathering light. Its leaves delicate yet vital. You are shaped by similar laws. Your body holds roots, in your breath, your heartbeat, your inherited strength. Your spine is your trunk. Your limbs are branches, moving, reaching. Your senses are leaves, catching experience like sunlight on skin. Everything built within you began as energy. Softly, invisibly, patiently rearranged into something solid, something lasting. And when you sleep, your body builds still. Not hurried. Not forced. But steady, slow, sure. Growth doesn't end. It changes shape. It becomes healing, repair, quiet resilience. It becomes the architecture of who you are becoming next. All around you, the world is busy building too. Mountains rising. Coral reefs growing inch by inch beneath waves. Fungi threading beneath forests, weaving roots and soil together. Ant colonies shaping tunnels in silence. The architecture of life is everywhere. And within you, it continues without pause. Even your thoughts, your feelings, your quiet moments of wonder. They, too, are structures. Neural pathways forming, strengthening, expanding. Connections built with every memory, every moment of learning, every soft realization. Your brain is not stone. It is alive, reshaping itself with each passing breath. So tonight, as you rest, know this. You are part of a vast architecture of energy turned to form. You are built from sunlight, from sugar, from the patient labor of molecules and time. You are not finished. You are always becoming. And tomorrow, the trees will stretch a little taller. The rivers will carve a little deeper. The seeds will push a little further toward the light. You are growing, too. In ways you can see. In ways you cannot. How does this endless building, this quiet architecture, shape not just bodies but entire ecosystems? How do the patterns of growth connect one life to another, across forests, oceans, and sky?
you.